Welcome to week 5 of Miss Mari's Music. I hope that you had fun with your accompaniment and your tonguing last week. This week we're going to be learning a little bit about rhythms, and we're also going to be learning about the difference between stepwise motion and skipping motion. And we're going to learn some songs that use different rhythms and use the skipping motion and stepwise motion. Let's get going with our warm-up. Time for another round of mystery note. This note uses 0, 1, and 2. Let's see if you can guess what the note is and play it with me. 1, 2, ready, go. Hopefully you guessed the note A. Repeat after me. And remember, while we're doing these exercises, you're always going to be tonguing each note. Remember, tonguing is the interruption of air using your tongue at the very, very corner of your mouth between your gums and your front teeth. Repeat after me with tonguing. Awesome. Now the next one, I'm going to tell you the note, but I'm not going to tell you the fingering. We're going to be playing G. Okay, I don't think you can see. I'm going to try and hide. I'm pretty sure you can't see my fingers here. Ready? Play with me. 1, 2, ready, go. Hopefully you matched my pitch and we got G. Repeat after me. Remember, we're tonguing. Awesome. Okay, our last note. What note do you think we're playing next? We're playing B. So same thing. I'm not going to show you my fingering. Hopefully you can figure it out at this point. And we have B. 1, 2, play and go. Okay, B is 0 and 1. Repeat after me. Awesome. Next, we're going to work on some exercises switching between G, A, and B. As a little clue, I'm going to start our exercises on B, okay? We're going to start with B, 0, 1, but we're using G's, A's, and B's. Listen to me. Awesome. And remember, if you need to go back and rewind to practice those, go for it. I know that we're covering a lot of information right now. We're moving on from our warm-up, but we're still going to do a little bit of a call and response. The difference is now we're going to be skipping notes as opposed to stepwise motion. We have been doing something called stepwise motion. That means that each note that we have done, they're right next to each other on the music staff. I'll show you what that looks like on the music staff in a moment. But right now, we're going to practice skipping between notes. For example, that means instead of going from G to A, we're going to practice going from G to B. Or let's say if we start on B, we're going to practice going from B to G instead of B to A, okay? Because A would be the stepwise, but G would be skipping if we go from B to G or G to B, okay? So if we go from G to B, tell me this. Practice with me. Without blowing, I want you to just practice moving your fingers from G to B. Which two fingers are always covering the holes? Which number fingers are always covering the holes from G to B? Hopefully you figured out 0, your thumb, and 1 are always covering the holes. So what that means is that the two fingers that are moving between G and B are 3 and 2, because 0, 1, 2, 3 is for G, and 0, 1 is B. Okay, so we're going to practice some patterns going from G to B. Repeat after me. Different pattern. Okay, remember, we're going to move on, but please rewind if you need to. Now we're going to practice going from B to G. We're going to start on B and go down to G. Okay, remember, rewind at any time. Maybe you got that super easily and it wasn't even a thing, but maybe it was a little bit confusing and all of a sudden weird for your fingers to practice the coordination of keeping some fingers still while you're moving the other ones. That's totally normal. It's okay. I don't want you to be discouraged. The key is to keep practicing between this week and next week and you'll get better. So keep going at it. Next, we're going to apply the stepwise and skipping motion on the music staff to some new rhythms that we're learning, the half note and the whole note. So I created some visuals that you can look at while I'm talking. As we've been going through the lessons, we know that a quarter note equals 1 beat. Last week, we learned that eighth notes equal half a beat. Today, we're going to be working on half notes, which are 2 whole beats. So this is going to be a longer length of sound, and we're going to be working on the whole note that is 4 beats worth of sound. All the music that we're learning right now has 4 beats in a measure, and so a whole note, you're basically going to have the same sound going through that entire length. As a side note, if you go to my Teachers Pay Teachers and do a search for my store, Miss Mari's Music, you can download this nice little chart that I made that will help remind you of the different types of note lengths and how many beats they're each worth. Now we're going to see what all of this looks like on the music staff. Alrighty, so this is a little song I wrote called Elevator Jam. If you're in an elevator, you know that sometimes you go up and sometimes you go down. Let's say you're on the 2nd floor. Sometimes you go straight up to the 3rd floor, but sometimes you're on the 2nd floor and you need to go to the 5th floor or the 11th floor or the 14th floor. So you skip a bunch of floors and go up. And then maybe you skip a bunch of floors to go back down from, let's say, the 11th floor to the 1st floor. I like to think of music like going up and down an elevator. Sometimes you go from one note to the note right above it or right below. In this case, when we go from G to A, we're going to the note that's right above. Same here, we go from G to A. So that's just one floor or one note above. And then from A to B, that's another note above. What I did to help us practice skipping motion in music, which we haven't done until this lesson, is I added in this little number right here. So you can see G, instead of going stepwise to A, we skip to a B. And remember, from G to B, we always use our 0 and our 1. Those stay on the holes, and 2 and 3 are the ones that move each time. okay, from G to B. You're also going to see our half note, which is worth 2 beats. And over here, woo, we have a whole note, one sound that takes up an entire 4 beats. What we're going to do first is we're going to practice saying the note names. I'm going to point, and we're going to say the note names, okay? Let's put our recorders down. Let's just practice reading the notes. 1, 2, ready, go. G, G, A, G, A, B, G, B, A, G. As you can see, I held out the notes for the length that they were supposed to be. So try that again with me, no recorder. Hopefully I won't hit my elbow on the stand this time. We'll see. 1, 2, ready, go. G, G, A, G, A, B, G, B, A, G. Awesome. Now take your recorder, okay? Starting on G. We're going to finger the notes together and say them, okay? You're not going to see my fingers in the screen, but that's because I really want to be sure that your fingers are memorizing where they're supposed to go and that you're reading the notes on the music staff as opposed to just looking at my fingers and copying my fingers, okay? Fingering along, no blowing. Finger and say the note names out loud. 1, 2, ready, go. G, G, A, G, A, B, G, B, A, G. Okay, let's put those recorders up. Let's try it together. We're going to blow and we're going to be fingering at the same time. We're going to take it nice and slow. We'll practice a few times, okay? In 1, 2, ready, and go. Remember, I just got to mention, we are tonguing through all of this. Don't forget. If you're taking a gajillion breaths, then you don't have to do that. All you got to do is take maybe 2 breaths during this entire song and use your tongue to separate each sound. Again, 2, ready, and go. Awesome. We're going to move on. This is another song I wrote, Skippety Skip. This one has a little bit more skips than the elevator song, okay? So Skippety Skip, we have our first skip here. Point with your fingers so you can see going from here to here, from G to B. Another one here from G to B. If we look down, measure 3, another one, G to B. And then look, B to G. Do we have any whole notes in Skippety Skip? We do not. We have quarter notes. I want you to point to the quarter notes. We have half notes. Remember, half notes are worth 2 beats. I want you to point to the half notes. And do we have any eighth notes? Yes, we do. Okay. Put your recorders down. We're going to practice doing Skippety Skip by saying the note names without fingering, just pointing to each note while we say the note names. Do it with me. 1, 2, ready, go. G, G, B, B, G, 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 B, G, G, B, B, A, B, G. This time, in order to really help you keep steady beat, I'm going to snap the steady beat point so you can really understand. So I'll still point to all the notes, but I'm also going to be tapping steady beat. If I were you and I was by yourself, I would move. I would maybe tap your foot to the beat. I would stand up and you can even march to the beat. Do whatever you need to do to help you keep the steady beat right now. We're not doing recorders, so do what you got to do, okay? You can clap, tap your shoulders, you can snap with me, whatever. Walk around, march. 1, 2, ready, go. G, G, B, B, G, 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 B, G, G, B, B, A, B, G. Okay, now you're going to get your recorder. What note does it start on? It starts on G. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, but again, I'm not going to have my fingers showing because I want to be sure that you are reading music and not just looking at my fingers the whole time, okay? This time we're going to finger along. We're not blowing into the recorder. We're saying the note names, okay? And 1, 2, note names finger. G, G, B, B, G, 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 B, G, G, B, B, A, B, G. If you need extra practice, rewind. Otherwise, it's time to play. Don't forget, we got a tongue. I don't want you to be doing a whole bunch of huffing and puffing, okay? Just a couple short breaths through the whole thing. Play with me. And 1, 2, ready, play. Again, 2, ready, and go. Again, 2, ready, and go. Awesome, great job. This time we're going to play with accompaniment. And 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Again, 2, ready, and go. Awesome job today, and I hope that you really had fun with our lesson. For your homework, I want you to keep working on tonguing using the songs that we learned today, Elevator Jam and Skippety Skip. And if you need to go back to some of the other episodes to practice tonguing with some easier songs, please do it. That's the beauty of YouTube, is you can access all of my episodes. We've learned a lot so far, and I really think you're going to enjoy next week's lesson. See you next Wednesday.